It is a time for a change. Time to collect everything that you have been creating for yourself. It's easy to give and give and give and give and give and give, and yet eventually you'll be all dried up. You'll feel empty, depleted, strung out, burnout, because you give. But now it is a time for change. It is time for you to receive what you have been giving. It is a force that's sort of swirling out there, this energy, right? So energy is exerted, it's put out, it's exchanged. And so now it's coming back to you tenfold is what I'm hearing. This is not your intention. This was not your intention. You were not intending to give just to receive. You have been giving because you are a giving being. But just because it's time for a change and time to receive, that doesn't mean that you are allowing yourself to receive. So there's a difference that you must be aware of. And how do we open ourselves to receive this abundance? First, to recognize that abundance can come in many different forms. It can come in love. It can come in money. It can come in freedom. It can come in journeying out. It can come in adventure. It can come in little moments, little sparks of joy. Abundance can actually come in releasing as well, making room for what it is that you want. So that is one way to recognize and open up the doorways of receiving. It's like this as you open this, I'm seeing these gates, these doors. It kind of reminds me of the book series. What is it? The Witch, the Wardrobe, and the Lion. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Chronicles of Narnia. There we go. I don't know the basis of that series, but I know that it is magical. And it is magic. It is magic, and magic is real. Now, at this point, hearing that, you might think, oh, this is foo-foo. Or you might be like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I've been wanting to hear. It's all in your perception. It's all what you want to believe. It is all in how you believe. So you must open up your heart in order to receive. A lot of times we give, and then in a way we're subconsciously scared to receive, because receiving takes a different form of compassion. It takes self-compassion to receive. And why would we not want to receive? Well, there have been energies, just like we offer energy, we do receive energy, but inadvertently from others. And so sometimes we receive energy that isn't right for us. So for example, we receive the idea that we're not good enough, that we can't use our voices, that we're in trouble, that we did something wrong, or we should be ashamed, or whatever it is, that we're not smart enough, we're not good enough, we're too old, we're too young, we can't figure it out. We receive these ideas of ourselves, and thus our self-compassion starts to dwindle a little bit. So the more that you allow to receive abundance, love, the more that you will recognize the self-compassion and vice versa. The more that you are kind to yourself through self-care, self-nurturing, self-awareness, self-respect, the more that you will receive this abundance from the universe. But a lot of times we stop it. We stop it. And why do we stop it? We are confused. Being a human isn't so easy, is it? We have these damn emotions that pop up. We have people that we love and they die. And that's a separate story, but they're still here. They're still here. You know it. You can feel them. But there's these conflicting duality experiences. There's these conflicting ebbs and flows of life. And that's why it's hard to have compassion for the self. We have compassion for others. But it's harder for ourselves because what's happening is the mind is active. And sometimes we feel like, oh, why can't we just chop off our heads and toss it down the river? And which sounds brutal, obviously. I don't truly mean that. But sometimes we feel that way, do we not? We feel like, oh my gosh, get these thoughts out of our head. But in those moments, you must practice feeling. I ask to feel at ease. I am calm. I ask to be reminded to breathe when I'm feeling overwhelmed. I ask to change the energy when I feel stuck. I ask to know what is the next best thing that I can do for myself that is in line with self-compassion. I am calm. I trust God. I trust my angels. I trust myself. I trust you. And this, okay, this comes back to faith. Faith, having faith. Faith is going to be experienced differently through you as maybe how I would experience faith and how I understand faith and how I would explain faith compared to what this person may experience faith. But in general, faith is a deep belief of something holding this sense of hope. We have hope, even though we can't see what the next step is. We don't have a projected reality playing out in front of us, literally. We do not have that, but we have it in our minds, right? We have this deep sense of faith. We all have that. That is your connection to God, this faith. That is the direct connection. So what I'm doing now is I have meditated for 20 plus minutes before this. And I got into a state of trusting. I allowed myself to do this. And now I'm in this trance-like state, conveying this information to you as a channel. But you too are a channel. Meditating is a form of faith. It's an action that you take in order to get directly into the stream of faith. You can call it prayer if you would like. That's another good way of explaining it. Sitting mindfully, sitting in the power, creating a sacred space where you allow yourself to connect to God, Source, the universe, however you so choose to call this source, this force that streams through all of us and is us. It's hard when we witness such, the word debris is coming to me, such hatred and hurt in the world. This is part about being a human, experiencing life that tends to divert us from feeling balanced and feeling centered with God. But even as this misunderstanding that's happening in all different parts of the world, in all different homes, and in all different areas, the one thing that is common is this sense of praying to God or Source, the universe, the sense of wanting to know why. And that's a hard topic. Even as me, I'm getting in my own way trying to analyze. But I allow that to be released, and I will continue to talk in a way that helps best understand. This is an experience that as a collective we are choosing. Now, I know that you would not choose intentionally, personally, something so terrifying. But as a collective, as a whole group, something is transitioning. So when something, what we perceive as horrific, happens, then the other side of the same coin, we have this deeper sense of compassion. So when someone's life is in a form sabotaged because of some outside force, then others can begin to feel this sense of compassion. Is that the goal? Perhaps. The compassion is what I'm referring to. So, on a lighter note, what can we do with this information? Know that you are not alone as you're listening to me now, right? And it doesn't matter when this is recorded because the energy is happening now. It's being converted to you audibly, visually, energetically. It's like your favorite movie. It still makes you laugh, it makes you cry, it helps you feel the things that you want to feel. That's why they're your favorite movie. Whether it's empathy or excitement or nervousness or nail biting. You're not alone. And as I say this, someone placed something on my doorstep out front. A reminder that I am still in this zone of trance. And that I'm still here. And you're still here. You're still fighting. You're still conquering through. Going back to the beginning, it is now time for change. It is time for you to receive that which that you have been giving. Okay? So you have been giving love. You have been giving compassion. You have been giving understanding. You have been giving people chances. And maybe those chances are timed out. Maybe there's no more chances to that individual because there's this sense of not receiving from that individual what you're trying to do. So receiving, again, reminder is letting go of those things that are preventing you from receiving, whether that is a space, an environment, a career, a relationship, a home, a place, a mental thought, an old belief that does not belong in your system anymore. You recognize these by doing the inner work, by crying if you have to cry, journaling your ideas, talking about them, finally getting out of you what you needs to get out, what you need to get out. It's all stored energy. So in order to receive, you must make room within to receive. So you have to get that out of you in order to experience that receiving. Because you deserve to receive. Now, please do not get this mixed up as projecting now anger towards someone else. It's your fault I haven't been receiving. That, my friend, there's no one to blame. It's all an experience. It's all a realization. It's all an awakening. It's all self-discovery. When we project blame and bitterness and anger out, that could be healing, yes, for a moment. But if you find yourself in this cycle of those feelings, then you're still remaining where you are. So it's all just discovery, okay? I have a resource I want to share with you that has been brought to my attention, is who I also feel is a beautiful channel here. He has passed on now. And to each their own. So if it does not resonate with you, then do not feel the need to proceed. Oh, that rhymed. Dr. Wayne Dyer, Excuses Begone. That's the book, the audio, the energy that you can use to help you dig a little deeper into this topic. It takes time. So remember that as well, because a lot of times we want immediate return on our investment. But remember, this is a lifelong journey, and self-care and self-compassion and self-discovery, those are all beautiful energies that you are allowing in your life. So ideally, you would want this to be an ongoing journey. So to imagine something to be instant, it could happen, right? But remember, abundance comes in all different ways, right? So allow yourself to free yourself from the restrictions that you have put on yourself and to continue to now shift the energy and receive even more. This doesn't mean that you've never received, of course you have. But we all need to make changes. And as you're listening to this message is particularly for you, especially if you have continued to listen up to this point, which I thank you for that. Which reminds me that I could continue going on and on as a channel for this loving, healing force of goodness. But I will stop there. And as I'm starting to come back into my mental capacity as Tabitha, and I've been here the whole time, but I'm starting to gain a little bit of groundedness now. So this might sound funny, but that's okay. If you want to continue to work with me, there's more information below this video, and you can do so there. Explore and go with what resonates with you. That's all that you can do. Be open to change, transformation, and healing. And so it is.